Welcome to Creative Boundaries. This week we sat down with Helen Rankin, the CMO and partner at SwagUp. Super great perspectives were shared, and with her unique perspectives, I think it'll give you lots of insight into the world that we're all trying to navigate through right now. So stay tuned and enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Creative Boundaries. Today we're chatting with a very interesting guest. I'm super excited about this one. We're chatting with Helen from SwagUp, the CMO of SwagUp, which is a swag management platform. Super excited to have her on. So today we want to talk a bit about like marketing, business, all that fun stuff, and how to develop yourself, especially in this crazy, uncertain time. So, hi, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
Super excited to have you on. It's a pleasure. Tell us a bit about who you are. What do you do?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name is Helen Rankin. I am the CMO and partner at SwagUp. We are your swag management platform. We're kind of your one-stop shop for all things swag and all the headaches that come with it, from warehousing and fulfillment and storage and distribution. But our platform really just lends itself for one consolidated place for you to source all of your swag items and collaborate across teams within your company to, make it happen and without having to do too much undertaking within your team or company.
Neat. Very cool. So in terms of business and marketing, kind of take us back into where it began, how you got your interest, why you're interested in the first place, maybe even.
Yeah. So I wasn't born thinking that I was going to be a marketer. That definitely wasn't something that I initially thought. I actually wanted to be a designer, and that was my goal when I was younger. I loved designing clothes and would rip up clothes that my mom had, and I kind of went with that idea. And I didn't have funds to go to college. That wasn't an option for me growing up. My family couldn't afford it. I didn't have the grades for it either. So I decided to just move to New York at 17 and figure it out and kind of try to find jobs that I can do that would put me in the networking and in the environment that I wanted. So I started modeling and started working in showrooms and helping them manage them. And from there is kind of where my love for marketing started. I was able to work with people in sales and marketing. And when I saw how much control they actually have in the market of what actually gets designed and what gets made, I was addicted, right away. I'm like, oh, wow. I was like, they're the ones doing all the research. They're the ones doing all the trends. And they're the ones that are actually saying what needs to get made and what needs to get designed. The designer has zero control of that. And very little people know that. And I didn't know that until I was exposed to it. So from there, I was obsessed with all things marketing. And it was really in my nature that I loved to create. And I really loved the idea of me being in control of what I think or what I anticipate people wanting. And I always had a good pulse for that just naturally. And that's why I loved designing and creating. But marketing kind of broadened that for me, where I could create, but also be able to see it in an experience level as well. So I loved it. From there, I just dove right in.
It's neat. That's super neat. We were talking a bit before we started, and one of the things you mentioned was helping to grow even SwagUp. How you started almost 10 years ago, you said.
Yeah.
Safe to say that you have pretty good experience and you know what you're doing, so that's super awesome. But is there anything that you would say that maybe kind of lended itself through a unique perspective or something you do differently in your own way? And can you kind of dig into that a little bit, if there is something that you have is your own, almost your niche thing maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very hands-on. I would think that that's kind of unique. A lot of marketers, if they're traditionally trained, they're very data driven and very much into looking at these numbers and letting that kind of dictate what you do. I'm very much of the thought that you have to kind of experience it yourself. I love selling the product that I'm trying to promote. I love getting in the seat and like figuring out what that sounds like. I also like figuring out what the customer experience is like, and going through your website and calling your airline and really getting the idea of like, well, what is the customer feeling, and seeing like what can I do to change. And I think that has really helped me as a marketer to really understand my customer and build around that. I think too many people focus around clients that don't like them or looking at negative reviews versus looking at the clients that actually love you and love your product and really understanding why. And, we even do case studies with our clients to even figure out more in depthly, like, well, if you weren't using us, what would you be doing? What would you be packing swag in your office? Would you be packing it at home? Would you store it in your garage? Like, is it in your car? Like, where is it? So, that has really helped us and myself as a marketer just kind of really identify what needs to get made. And most times when I do those kind of discoveries where I'm either pretending to be a salesperson that day or, pretending client or speaking with clients and interviewing them, is when I create the best campaigns. It's like, it is really just getting in there and really identifying it.
That's awesome. So with everything that's going on in the world, I feel like you guys are in a very unique position, maybe. I feel like you guys have like apologies. Maybe there's like a unique opportunity right now with people wanting to feel more taken care of. And I'm not speaking from experience there, but is there anything specifically that you guys are doing differently now that everything's changed? Have you found that people are maybe looking at swag management a bit differently?
Yes, absolutely. Especially everyone's working from home. So, to be able to still create the company culture that you want, it's hard to do that, especially if you haven't worked remote or didn't have like a remote from, work from home policy. So we're seeing our product being utilized a lot for like employee morale and engagement, but also being able to implement that. If you're working remote, it's very hard to do that. It's very, very hard. So the fact that we're able to facilitate, helping them out, decorate all the items, but also assembling them in a very thoughtful way and being able to distribute them to all their teams is super valuable for them to keep that morale up. We've done, some care packages for really large companies, and they just send us screenshots of their Slack channel, and it's just like their Slack channel is going crazy because everyone's so excited about getting their swag. But we've also been utilizing it a lot for virtual events. So marketers and sales teams that initially had budgets for, these bigger conferences, now where are they going to go?
Right.
They're not doing those conferences anymore. So they're using those budgets now towards virtual events. And we're implementing integrations with a lot of these platforms to be able to send swag out when someone registers, if someone goes to a certain amount of sessions, or if they attended one of your virtual events, sending them some type of thank you package. And, those re-engagement touches are really great and have been, kind of something different that our product wasn't used for before.
In terms of kind of applying that, is there like everybody's experiencing different things right now, but from maybe a marketing or a business standpoint, is there anything that you think people should maybe focus more on right now as just from a general perspective, with the craziness of the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some companies that are really cutting back on marketing, and I always, I kind of step back when I hear that. We've done the complete opposite. We've gone the complete opposite trajectory of doubling down on marketing. You might see dips in certain traffic, or you might see certain things lower or revenue a little bit lower, but that's not an excuse to not grow in other areas that you weren't strong in before, and things that you might have been not as like open to try because things were so good previously. Like, you should start trying them now. Like, you shouldn't you should exhaust probably every channel that you could possibly think of. And that's really what we've been doing, is exhausting every channel and really going forward with branding and with content and SEO and paid search and social media. Like, we're covering all of our bases as much as possible, and that's been really helping out. And people want to see, feel good items, and our product kind of lends itself to that. So, being able to focus a lot more on our brand has been great.
I know a lot of people have a lot of extra time and they're exploring new things. That's kind of one of the things I like exploring on this podcast with a whole bunch of different people, is how they're growing, again, creative boundaries. Like, what are they pushing? How are they innovating? So is there anything that you're doing at the moment that is maybe innovating? You're trying something new, trying to develop yourself in a different area. Is there anything like that at the moment that you could dig into a little bit?
Yeah, so something new that we started doing is partnerships. That's not something that we've offered before, and we've actually moved someone from our sales team to solely focus on just partnerships. So we're aligning ourselves with some of our clients to help them as well, and creating a sense of community. So all of our clients now, we're networking them together to see if there's ways that they can work together, and maybe one of them can find a client out of our network. We have over 1,000 clients, and they're probably a lot of the top startups in the country. So we figured, why not bring all of these very talented and great companies together in certain ways? So we're creating a lot of content around that, and actually doing we're going to start launching a podcast series where we're interviewing our clients and also allowing them to guest spot on our blog to write about their company, and we're going to help promote them. So that's something that we've been doing that doesn't necessarily bring revenue to us, but I think during this time, it's just really important that you're aligning yourself with a sense of community, and not everything you do in marketing has to have revenue attached to it.
Right. Super neat to hear those perspectives. We kind of got through those questions really, really quickly, which was super, super neat. Is there any other things you wanted to share with regards to marketing in this time period at all, or anything you want to dig into at all?
No, I mean, I think that companies that are trying to market right now, it is tough. But I think if you kind of, figure out what you can do, what can your product do or pivot to that is valuable for people right now. And I know that's hard for some companies, but there's always some type of value add that you can offer. And two, just figuring out how you can really get your brand out there and just align yourself and do some type of like community outreach like we're doing with our clients. I think right now it's just so important that companies kind of unite, the ones that are doing well, like unite and see what they can do together to kind of help flourish these things. And during this time, it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, I appreciate you being on. That's super great to hear from you with all of your awesome perspectives and unique perspectives. Is there anywhere people can go if they would like to go follow?
Yeah, so if they're interested in SwagUp, they can go to SwagUp.com and, check us out, see all their items that we offer, and check out our platform. So that's their best spot to find us. Otherwise, they can email me at helen@swagup.com.
Awesome. I appreciate you being on. Thank you very much.